All right. Let's go. Let's go. Tell me I'm live. All right. Says I'm live. So, what's up, everybody? Terminator Juice. Another Juice Opinions. Been putting these up a little more consistent lately. So, yeah, no gameplay this week because definitely my PC can't handle it. Especially if I played newer games, I think it'd be alright if I played some older games. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff. Just to set up for those that are here. What's up, Sardonic? Clocked it. Brand Smith. Yeah, so I posted a tweet last week, and you can see on the screen. And I made the text larger, so I think y'all can read. Should be able to read that fine. I don't know if you're on your phone, if it'd be a little harder, but yeah. So I said if Nintendo released a service like Uplay or Origin that let you buy and play all their current and future exclusives on PC, what would you do? So for those that don't know how Uplay and Origin work, Uplay is Ubisoft's PC basically service, and Origin's EA's. So what you do, you look on the bottom. I'm blocking it, but Origin, it's like an app on your PC, and it works to purchase and play only EA games. Uplay is the same way. The difference between Uplay and Origin is none of EA's games are on Steam at all. So if you wanted to buy or play Apex Legends, you got to be on Origin. If you want to buy Battlefront 2, this is where you do it on PC. It's the only way to buy EA games on PC, and these are the games I have through Origins on PC. The only thing they are missing, in my opinion, is cross-platform saves. So Apex Legends on Origin is a completely separate progress and stuff from Apex Legends progress on Xbox. So this is completely its own thing. And then, of course, you can get these games are all third-party, so you can get them on Xbox One and PS4. So that's just in case somebody didn't know. If you're a console person, you'd never heard of Origin or Uplay. So that's what I meant. I was in no way suggesting Nintendo go on Steam. I think that would be a whole different bag. So here's the results. I'll get to that later. What really brought this up was just chatting after my graphics horror podcast or Juice Opinions last Friday. And I don't know, I was talking about different things, and Red Knight or somebody said something about playing games on stronger hardware, and I joked that if I could play them, on PC or something, I'd never buy a Nintendo console again, LOL. And then so then I just had this idea for this poll. I thought I was just looking for a provocative question to ask. It got 63 votes. I thought it would get more, actually. But so yeah, that was kind of the origin story of that, and I'll get into that. We got a debate or discussion about that and Virtual Console, and I'm glad Clocked It's here because he was on the complete opposite side of me when it comes to Virtual Console. But we'll talk about that in due time. Now I'm forgetting what I wanted to start this off with. So let me browse the old see what news I know I want to talk about Crafted World again. I said it on the Juices Loose podcast at the end, or in the beginning, and we're talking about the demo, how excited I am to be playing that game. And I see there's more footage coming out, which I didn't watch extended footage, but I see on Twitter, if you stay on a tweet long enough, you'll see some video playing, and I've seen some really cool levels, and the creativity seems to be what I was hoping for, and I feared it didn't have. So I don't know if you're not a Yoshi fan. I don't think this is gonna change, but for me, everything I've seen whether it's just watching a full level on IGN last week or seeing a 5-second clip of some really creative looking level today, and seeing a kind of like a ghost house like level where with like Yoshi gets under these like spotlights and he's safe, and then this like some weird looking ghost creature comes after you in the darkness, and it was just like, holy shit, like this looks awesome. And what's up, Laker Link? Yeah, happy fucking Friday, everybody. It's been a weird couple days weather-wise. It was like 60 the other day. Now it's like snowing again and cold and windy, and it's just crazy. So I was like, I'm gonna get inside, get in the warmth, and I'll just do a juice opinions, and then probably do some gaming later, play some Smash or something. So, but yeah, Yoshi's Crafted World definitely looks to be everything I was hoping after playing Woolly World. And, part of the whole graphics horror conversation came up, from my last week's Juice Opinions. One of the things that started it was the Yoshi demo, and I played it on my PC, which I have a 1440p monitor. And I noticed the game looked blurrier than what I was expecting. I was really looking forward to it. I thought the E3 2017 reveal of it looked better than Kirby, but when playing the demo, I was a little disappointed, and that's kind of where the whole graphics ho comments, some of those started from that, and so I felt the need to defend myself, and wasn't too hard to defend that. But anyway, Crafted World looks phenomenal. It's 2 weeks away now? Yeah, today's the 15th, so really looking forward to that. And I was thinking of picking up Devil May Cry 5. I would get it on the PlayStation 4, but I don't know. I think Terrell and he kind of talked me into, even though I don't care about the censorship in that game, like I think it's not even worth talking about. But at the same time, it's so pointless that why'd they even do it type of thing. And it's like, so I'm a little bit torn on that. So I'm just gonna try to finish Trials Rising. I got the extreme tracks unlocked and just play that out till I get a Yoshi. And looking forward to getting into that and playing on my Switch more, because lately I haven't really been playing too much on the Switch. So let me check something. I know there was something else I want to talk about, but I was rushing. It's not listing it as live. I don't know what that means. Says I'm live. I'm in the green, so maybe it's not popping up for people. And I just kind of created this, 20 minutes in advance. So, I mean, I'm sure not a ton of people are going to be checking out live because they just don't know about it. Oh, that's the other thing I want to talk about was Fortnite. And how the cross-platform is changing for Switch users. I don't play Fortnite anymore. Yeah, let me get back to looking over here. I don't play Fortnite anymore, but I see some Xbox fanboys talking, or heard them. I know Next Gen 720 clickbaited one of their he does like a podcast every day, and he put that Nintendo shutting down crossplay, and it's so far from the truth. It was a decision by Epic to remove the Switch user base from the Xbox, PlayStation, and PC user base, and it was based on complaints that, especially from Switch owners being at a disadvantage. The 30 frames per second versus 60. There's actually Digital Foundry talked about this when the game first came out. At 60 frames per second, shooting bullets, like you get hit by twice as many bullets than you can hit them with. So you're at a disadvantage right there. And they just felt that was not really fair to the Switch players. So, and there's no way they're going to ever get that running at 60. So what they did was when you pair, or when you just search random without a party, that it puts you with the cell phone or the mobile players, which actually gives Switch owners a bit of an advantage with the controller. But yeah, you can still party up with friends cross-platform, and then go into it, and then you'll be, it's at your own. It's not going to deny you that, but they said that's how it's going to be. And I know, people wanted to spin that Nintendo did something, or Nintendo's stepped in, and no, they had nothing to do with it. It was Epic. The only thing Nintendo had to do with it was they put out a hybrid system that's not capable of 60 frames per second. If this game was 60, they wouldn't have done it. So, I guess in one way you could say it's Nintendo's fault, but they're fully still supporting crossplay. They didn't come out and make a statement or anything, but I thought that was funny when I seen someone post, "Oh, Nintendo shutting down crossplay." I seen that pop up on a few different things, and I'm like, so I looked into it, and it didn't take 2 minutes to figure out that they're full of shit. So, it's one of those things. I'll get into the whole concept of having a cross platform if one's 30 and the other's 60. When I talk about Nintendo games on PC, that's obviously would be something. That could be a problem. So, yeah, that was it for Fortnite. I guess anybody in the chat, I see you guys been you corrected. Well, I didn't really speak on it yet, but you already knew that the crossplay with friends works. So, the other thing I guess I want to talk about real quick, and that I've been almost going to do a whole Juice Opinions on this, and maybe this will turn into something longer. I wasn't planning on it, but the whole, Joy-Cons, people having to fix their drifting. Yeah, you say they need to optimize their game. I mean, there's no way, if it was just optimizing your game, there'd be way more Unreal Engine games at 60. Rocket League is Unreal Engine 3, and to hit 60, I thought that game's before I was a little more informed about Unreal Engine and Switch, I was like, why does Rocket League not look better? But it's running at 60, and it's a pretty consistent, if not locked. But, just the amount of graphical sacrifices need to take place. So if you're talking Fortnite, what are they going to do? Get rid of geometry or background detail, and now you don't see the player as well as, I don't even know on PC I think there's limitations to how far you can have the draw distance, so you don't have some major advantage with pop-in of other characters. I really don't think Fortnite could be at 60 unless you want it so blurry you're never going to be able to shoot somebody at a distance. It doesn't even matter. You're going to be at a disadvantage, because if they make that game run at 60, you're talking probably under 500p resolution, probably 480p upscaled, and you're talking so blurry you're going to be at a disadvantage anyway. People are going to blend into the background. It's really not an optimization thing. Maybe when they first launched, they've done a few things, but the game doesn't even run at a lock 30. And the mobile devices, if you watch Digital Foundry's video, is pushing way less textures, way less. They have completely different the buildings and stuff, the boards and stuff are a completely different set of polygons or model on the mobile. It runs at a higher resolution, but it's actually a way more scaled down than even the Switch version. If the Switch version was at 1080, it looked just like the PS4 version. But the mobile at 1080 doesn't look even close if you're talking the water reflections and all that. So I don't think it's an optimization thing. Maybe they could get the 30 locked, but there's no way that game will ever hit 60 without it being unplayable from a visual standpoint. But anyway, I was starting to talk about the Joy-Con. So we got reports of a lot of people having drifting analog sticks. Nintendo Life put out a video talking about somebody who was going through steps of how to fix it. I haven't actually used my Joy-Cons in so long for anything serious other than just some quick portable mode just for the hell of it. I was just like waiting for the podcast to start or something. I don't play portably, and I don't use the Joy-Cons for any type of serious gaming anymore. I've given up on them as a legit controller, and I feel it's the worst controller, the worst mainline controller possibly since like TurboGrafx 16 Neo Geo, that generation. I don't know what generation that's called. I feel the Joy-Cons are easily the worst mainline controller Nintendo's ever put out. The only thing worse to me is the classic controller for the Wii, that $20 cheapest made thing I've ever bought that had an official Nintendo product. Terrible decision to make it shaped like a Super NES controller, but then just put those two analog sticks down at the bottom close together. There was no thought put into that. That's literally their worst controller by far. And the next worst, in my opinion, is the Joy-Cons. And it's not just the build quality, even though that seems to be the biggest negative most people would say. Most people would think it's fine as a controller, but it's got, in my opinion, unacceptable analog sticks. There's no reason they have to be so low profile. I guess they wanted just to make the overall profile of the system smaller. They have almost no travel. The right analog stick in portable play locked in is so low that it might as well not even. I guess I don't know where I was going with the statement. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. It's like, I would have rather the stick been in a proper place, and then when you hand the Joy-Con to somebody else, that was more awkward, because what's the more likely way people are going to use the right Joy-Con? In their hand, free, in the grip, or in the system. Handing it to somebody else, that is a very temporary type of play scenario. That is not your main way that anyone's ever going to play this system. And to cater the Joy-Con to having it turn sideways playing that, to me, is unacceptable. So I just simply will not use the Joy-Cons anymore. Like I said, the right analog stick's way too low, but it's so close to the B button for any type. And I'm talking about serious gaming here. I'm not talking about casually playing like Breath of the Wild and exploring. I'm not talking about Mario plus Rabbids, because I think that's the best game for portable play and Joy-Cons. I'm talking about doing boost jumps in Rocket League. I'm talking about performing precise platforming in Mario Odyssey. Just precision platforming in Hollow Knight, or even Mario Kart 8. It's just, for me, hitting that B button is almost guaranteed I'm hitting the right analog stick. I don't know if it's not 100% of the time, but it's a high percentage. And then the buttons themselves are so tiny, they dig into your thumb. If you're playing Mario Kart, I guess you build up calluses over time, but just nothing about them I like. There's no ergonomics. I guess that would probably be the number one for me. Odyssey does not require Joy-Cons. I played the whole game with the Pro Controller, and I tell you right now, I pull off more advanced maneuvers than anybody with Joy-Cons. So to me, and I've been kind of putting off talking about this because I know it's going to upset the loyal Nintendo diehards who don't like to hear negatives about their favorite company, but it's just unacceptable to me that the main controller for the Switch is so inept at so many things, trying to do everything. I don't know what you're saying. You don't need the Joy-Cons. You could play in tabletop mode with the Pro Controller. You could play portable mode with the Pro Controller, but not when you're holding the system, obviously. They only require the Joy-Cons if you really want to do the cap throwing by using motion. I mean, you can use the Pro Controller actually, but it's not as practical. So just to recap, I would say my number one complaint about the Joy-Cons is the lack of ergonomics. So even with the rubber grip things, which make it better, those just by themselves, that flat, what is it, like half-inch thick maybe, it's absolutely uncomfortable. And then hitting the right analog stick location would be number 2. The quality of the analog sticks and the amount of travel, 3. And then how close the B button is to the right analog stick. And then, you got these little tiny bumper buttons. And it's just, to me, it wasn't worth being able to hand a controller to somebody. I know that's in theory, on paper, that sounds like a really cool thing. Switch is too small. Gamepad was the perfect size for rigorous smash play. Yeah, the gamepad's way too big for a portable system, though. But gamepad just absolutely trumps the Switch with Joy-Cons and portable. Unless you have a grip attachment, which, if you want to spend an extra $20 and have to take that thing on or off every time you want to charge it or something. There are alternatives that make it better, but I'm just judging the system by what it is and what you get when you buy the Switch. There's no way in hell I'd ever buy another set of Joy-Cons even if mine broke. I'm like, oh, I'm never playing in portable mode again. Like, that's how much I don't like them, and that's how much I hate the price of them. I don't think they're more ergonomic than cell phones. They're the same as a cell phone. They're no better than a cell phone to me, other than it has buttons. Cell phones don't have buttons. So that's not an excuse. Comparing it to something non-ergonomic, saying it's better than this non-ergonomic thing, isn't really a positive. Just look at the N64 controller. Hold that. Hold this GameCube controller. Hold the nunchuck in your left hand. Hold the gamepad in the Wii U Pro controller. Hold the Switch Pro controller. Compare the Joy-Cons to that, because I'm comparing it to what Nintendo's done in the past. I just absolutely have nothing good to say about the Joy-Cons. Even the HD Rumble, it's really just a vibration. I just bought this for my PC. Oh, it's got green on it, but I got a great deal on it. And Walmart had a cheap price, and Best Buy price matched it. And then I had a $25 Best Buy gift card. So I paid $20 out of pocket for a brand new Xbox One controller. The last one I was using was basically a launch day Xbox One controller. And I'll tell you, the difference in rumble in this new Xbox One controller versus the one I've been using the last 3 years was so noticeable that I feel like maybe the other one, either the motor's burnt out, or I can't even tell you if there was rumble, because I have Rocket League's vibration set down, or feedback set to the lowest, and I was like, oh shit, it must have jumped back up to high after an update. It was still on low. That's how much more powerful this new one is. But anyway, I would rather feel like a good thumping rumble. If you played Shadow of the Tomb Raider on Xbox with a new controller, it literally feels like a heart's beating in your hand. In the HD rumble at this point, it's just vibration. It's like, yeah, I guess if you're playing 1-2 switch and you can feel marbles, that's cool. But is it cooler than just a really good, satisfying thump? I would say the analog, or the rumble and the triggers, playing like Forza Horizon 4, that's a way bigger like evolution of rumble than the HD rumble. And a lot of games don't even use it. The Pro controllers is HD rumble really isn't that effective. The Joy-Cons actually are at least twice as good as the Pro controller when it comes to HD rumble. But when it comes down to it, because of the size of the Joy-Cons, it's really just a vibration. So that to me is really not a selling point anymore. And it got so bad with Starlink that I had to turn it off because my Pro Controller's rumble is now shot. It was so strong, and it's just a vibration that it sounded like a blown speaker. It really felt like that something had broke inside, or the motor had just been worn out. So I actually turned it off in that game. So now I know probably some people can be a little upset, but really that's how I feel. It sucks that, basically if I was to say to anyone, ask me about, should I buy a Switch? I said, yeah, but it's not 300, it's 370, because the Pro Controller to me is absolutely mandatory for any serious gaming. HD Rumble is failing in the wrong hands. I would say the same thing to you about this new generation controller with the vibration in the trigger. Play a racing game and then tell me, just like you're saying, in the right hands you think it's no contest. I say if you played like Forza Horizon or any game that utilizes the trigger rumble, and then that in conjunction with the regular rumble, especially this new wave of controllers that's so much better than the original. I was with you, Clocked It. I thought HD Rumble was amazing. It was, oh man. But after a while, really, if you don't have any gimmick to pull with it, it's more vibration than it is actual an actual like rotor thing that the original Rumble Pack was. The Rumble Pack, you could feel that thing. You put it on your leg, you could feel a thump. There's actually a cam or something that you could feel an actual thump. So, but end of this rant about the Joy-Cons. I absolutely just avoid using them at all costs at this point. I will buy another Pro Controller like in a heartbeat. Like mine's getting a little worn, but it's still all right. But I'll buy another Pro Controller. I love it. It's one of the best controllers. It's right there with the Xbox One controller for me as two of the best controllers ever made. So they get props for that. The controller they really don't even market or hype up. It is an amazing controller. If you don't have a Pro Controller for the Switch and you've never used it, I don't want to hear any of your thoughts on the Joy-Cons, because I guess ignorance is bliss. But man, the Pro Controller is so good. It's just so good. Everything about it, button size, the layout. Yeah, and I just don't know what like I said, the HD Rumble and Starlink is very pronounced. Oh, my weapon is engaging that I just switched to. I see what they're trying to do, but it doesn't have the impact of an actual like thumping feeling rumble that I prefer. So anyway, let's get into this whole discussion. Clocked It made a video. Go check out his channel. I'm going to link it right now, actually. Let me find it first. I'm going to link Clocked It's channel. He needs more subscribers. He's probably the best Nintendo YouTuber out there, in my opinion. Even though he has some stuck in his old ways mindset for gaming sometimes. Yeah, and just he loves physical games and some things that I think for me personally I've moved on from. But he's great channel. Click on it, subscribe. Yeah. So anyway, he did a video based on my poll, which I guess him and Terrell thought for sure this poll was some kind of bait. That I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I just thought it was an interesting question, was a provocative question, and it was just based on a kind of a joking remark I made in a group chat. So didn't really plan on talking about it. So let's start with the thing I think where Clocked and I definitely are on opposite sides. The whole first party, like new games on PC, I really don't. I'm not asking for that. I really could live without it. But the virtual console, and you know, its existence since 2006 on the Switch was a great thing. Everybody loved it. The idea of having basically Nintendo's full library on one system, NES, Super NES, N64, the GameCube backwards compatibility, and Wii, it was the one-stop system for Nintendo games, for games in general, with Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, TurboGrafx 16, Neo Geo games showing up on the Wii Virtual Console. So it was a big thing, and people bought a lot of games, and it was nice, and everyone just expected this to be Nintendo moving forward. Virtual Console's just going to get bigger and bigger, and then they go to the Wii U, and it's like, oh shit, they realized we got to tweak every game individually. Damn. So what they did was they did it little by little, and they charged the same price if you didn't own the game. If you did, you paid like $1 or something, and it was kind of a big fail. And then with the Switch, they said fuck it. 3DS got virtual console games of Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. That's how I played Link's Awakening, and it seemed like a pretty cool, a pretty cool service. Except the part where if you wanted it on Wii U, you had to pay more. If you want it on 3DS and Wii and Wii U, you had to buy it 3 times. So it kind of cool, as fast as it was like this cool thing, it just as fast turned into kind of a distant memory. And I remember the day I bought my Switch, the dude that's at Best Buy sold me the Switch, and because I had been standing in line, we've been chatting, I came back for, I think, picking up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or something, and he was talking to me, and he's just like, dude, like, I thought the virtual console would be on the Switch by now, but I'm not gonna buy these games again. Like, why would I have to buy the same NES games again? And that stuck with me. So here's my idea, and it doesn't matter if it's on PC. This part of my idea is Nintendo, you started something good, and then you didn't plan for the future, so you didn't design it to the virtual console to be easily put on other systems. So, and maybe they don't want to do this again, but they need to put in the work, and whatever it takes, emulator or whatever, just have all those games that were on the Wii work. And maybe don't bring the Sega and the TurboGrafx. Maybe just stick to the Nintendo games. And as soon as I sign into my Nintendo account on Club Nintendo, whatever the hell it's called now. Let me see. I think My Nintendo. Every game I bought, I know you know, and have a record of every game I've bought on that virtual console. Those need to be available to me as soon as I sign in and download them. If you're going to have to download them, if it's not like a streaming, I don't know how it would work. I don't care if it's on my Switch. I doubt they'd put it on 3DS, but it should not be locked to a piece of hardware. As soon as I log in, all my games that I purchase should be there. If you do that, I'll keep buying games. If you don't ever worry about bringing virtual console again if you think you're going to charge me for Super Mario Bros. 3 again. Like, the fact that more people aren't upset about the fact that those games they bought are just gone. Oh, you fire up your Wii. Who the hell wants to turn on their Wii to play some virtual console games? You know what? Since when was the virtual console like still relevant? Like 2010, you know. So it's been 9 years since the end of it. It's been 13 since the beginning, or 12 and a half. Like, I don't even have my Wii anymore. It's the only Nintendo system I've sold as an adult since I've had a job, because my Wii U is a Wii. But when my Virtual Console games didn't cross over, Nintendo gave me credit and let me repurchase them, and I actually bought a couple different ones. But I had to go, you have to boot up your Wii U, go to the Wii side of it, and then go to the Virtual Console from there. So for me, the first step is tie it to my account. Now, let's say I never bought a Virtual Console game. From this day forward, let's say it's a younger person who's just bought a Switch, never really got into those old games. Didn't, he was too young even to play the Wii. Maybe he's 15 or something now, and like he wants to get in. So let him, or his dad, whoever his account name is in, whoever's name it's in, buy those games. They should never have to worry about them being lost or not coming to the next system. They should just forever be available on any Nintendo platform in the future. But when you really think about it, when you don't lock it to a certain system, and you're like, well, then every time they got to do it, well, then just have a fucking app, something like Steam, exclusively for Virtual Console games, put it on PC, and maybe have it go from NES to N64. I don't know if GameCube is old enough. Maybe it is. It's still Nintendo. It's all Nintendo. It's their service. Frickin', they could even sell a little kit that comes with NES, Super NES, N64 USB adapters or something, and then a year, or you buy like a certain amount of, you get a certain amount of money towards your purchases. Why PC? Why not? What do you, cell phones? I mean, I'm not gonna expect them to put on PS4. I'm not expecting to put on Xbox. If you open up the Virtual Console, which is right now it's dead, you have to boot up your old systems to play games you bought that are not on their original hardware. They're digital. If I build a new PC, I just re-download Steam, I log in, and I re-download my games. Oh, sorry, I forgot to point out, this is also on Switch. I'm not saying only on PC. But when the Switch is done and gone, now they gotta put it on the Switch successor. Maybe you don't buy the Switch successor. Maybe you don't like the direction they take. Yeah, I'm saying put it on the console too. I'm sorry, I must not have been clear. The console and PC. Like, I don't understand why that's... I know Clocked It had all these reasons. The games at this point are just emulated games anyway. If you go out and buy an NES Classic, guess what you're buying? A super low spec PC running an emulator. You're paying for... you get all the games, and you get a little box shaped like the original NES. It's just a low spec PC built inside, running an emulator. That's all it is. It's already on, quote, it's already on a PC basically. Nintendo, if they had their app like this, let's say this is their app. Up here, you'd have NES, Super NES, N64. Click on it. There's your library. Plug in your USB to NES controller if you want to play it old school, or any controller that you have, it should work. Oh, I want to play Super NES. Here's my library. Have it nice layout. Look something like the NES, Super NES Classic. It's all Nintendo. It's all their money. You're giving it to Nintendo. They're not giving any to Steam, so you're supporting Nintendo 100%. These games, some of these Virtual Console games have been on 7 platforms, from the original platform they're on, to a collection on N6 or Super NES, to the Wii Virtual Console, to the Game Boy Advance, to the 3DS Virtual Console, to the Wii U Virtual Console, and now on Switch with the Nintendo Switch Online. At this point, if you think there's any like connection between those games and the hardware on, and I can't play that on something that's not a Nintendo system. Well, the NES and Super NES Classics aren't Nintendo systems. They're just, like I said, a CPU, some RAM, and running an emulator. So that's already that. So what's the negative? Oh no, I don't want these non-Nintendo fans to be able to play Super Mario Brothers 1 for when they can play it for free on emulators. So what? I've never purchased, or I've never played a PC emulated NES game. I tried, I think it was Link to the Past. I tried it a long time ago, and it was a hell of a process. It was a pain in the ass. I don't like downloading things that I don't trust on my computer. If they had their virtual console, and when I logged in, it had all my purchases already, that's the kicker. If it doesn't, then fuck it. I'll never buy another virtual console game anyway. But if they did this, put it on the Switch, whatever. I don't care if it's just on the Switch. Oh yeah, but you need to rebuy all these games. We don't care what you've bought before. They can just eat a dick anyway. So I'm not a big virtual console guy anyway. I should have said that to start with. It absolutely doesn't need to be on Switch. It doesn't need to be on PC. I'm not saying it has to be. But if they were going to bring it back, this is how I seen how many System, Square, and Capcom games are put on Don't Act Like Nintendo is Outline. I don't know what you're saying. How many Systems, Square, and Capcom games Don't Act Like Nintendo is an outliner? What do you, Square and Capcom games are on everything. What do you, I don't get your point, Philip. Think it'd be hard to get PC gamers to pay for Super Mario Brothers, but maybe little kids, hardcore PC gamers will ROM it, or just purists. So you think because there's some people that wouldn't buy it, that it doesn't matter that there might be a million people that would? Like, I don't even care. Like I said, I don't care Nintendo ever releases those old games ever again. They're available so many places already. I just don't get that it should stay on the Wii. Why do these games have to, why do the digital version of these games have to be stuck to the Wii? Because that's not, I mean, you're playing with the Wii remote sideways. Is that, for the purists, that doesn't work anyway. The whole virtual console doesn't even matter to the purists. They're going to play it on original hardware. They got the converter devices to convert to HDMI. Those are the people that they don't care about the virtual console anyway. And you're saying, well, Steam guys, they can just play it for free. I'm a Steam guy. I hate how people just assume anyone that plays on PC, it just automatically always just expects stuff to be free, downloads emulators, only buys games on Steam sales. Like, that is not the majority. That is not everybody. He's talking about the majority of virtual console games being third-party. Nintendo can't. Yeah, I started out by saying this would be like Nintendo. Get rid of the Sega and the TurboGrafx 16 type games. And if you're like, well, why would Capcom want to put, maybe not Capcom, why would Tecmo want to put Ninja Gaiden on this PC version of the virtual console? Why wouldn't they? It's on the Switch, Nintendo Switch Online. It's in the reboot of Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox. Like, why wouldn't they want it available again to be sold and to make a little bit of money possibly? Like, to me, like I said, I don't care, but if they did it and did it right, I wouldn't be upset with it. Like, it's not like, oh my God, it's a Nintendo game it's not on Nintendo hardware. It already isn't for all those people that emulate, people that did their PSP. How many people did you know that hacked their PSP to play NES and Super NES games? Then you're like, oh, it's not on Nintendo hardware. Who cares? These games haven't been on their original hardware in 30 plus years. I just don't understand that. But again, why wouldn't Tecmo want Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3 on the virtual console again, but, you know, be not tied to a system, be more of an open account system? I don't know. Maybe their deals can't go for unlimited amount of time, but that would be the one caveat. Yeah, I mean, people can hack their NESs, their NES Classics, I should say, Super NES Classics, and play a bunch of games from Super NES to PlayStation 1 games. You could play a PlayStation 1 game on a Super NES Classic. So all this stuff's happening. Why not just make it official, make some money off it? So, yeah, you would have the problem. Some companies, I guess, wouldn't let it happen as a... but let me look right now. I'm on Steam. Let's look at some Capcom, or let's Square. Let's Final Fantasy. Oh, look. They're on Steam. Why wouldn't they want to be on Nintendo service? Look at all these Final Fantasy games. Why would they be on Steam? Why wouldn't they want to be on Nintendo's version of it? Like, it's just another way for them to make money. Like, I guess I don't understand. Nintendo would have to work with them, and Nintendo wouldn't get all the money and stuff, but I don't understand why that would be an issue. They put their games on anything. Anything that plays games. A lot of these games are been available on multiple systems for so long. Like, I don't know. I don't see where that would be a sticking point either. So, but hey, you feel differently, that's fine. I'm just telling you how I feel. These games don't hold any sort of the tradition was gone as soon as they were on the Wii. To me, that special connection between the game and the console it was originally on died as soon as they put them on the Wii. So, TurboGrafx 16 loyalists, if there is any, and maybe they were upset when those games hit the Wii's Virtual Console, but I know a lot of people were pretty excited about that. I know a lot of Sega fans were pretty excited when Genesis and Master System games were on the Virtual Console, got announced. That's not on the original hardware, So I just think it would be a smart thing business-wise, and as a pro-consumer thing, don't make me rebuy these games ever again. I already bought them. The ones I bought, let me download them and play them. I don't see the negative. From my perspective, I don't see the negative to that. The negative comes to the Switch. You have to pay another $1 to get Super Metroid on the Switch now because they had to do something to make it work on the Switch. To me, that's the negative. That's way worse than playing a Nintendo game on the dreaded PC. And another reason the reason I have my Steam open, and I'm going to get into the new games, the first party games. This is my entire Steam collection since 2012. BioShock Infinite came free with the graphics card. Doom, I bought a year late. GTA 5 or GTA 4 and the Gay Tony whatever, the 2 packs, I paid $7-8. One of the first games I bought, and I was just like, never played them. Hellblade, just bought. This is the VR edition, came with it. Metal Gear Solid 5 was given to me. I bought Ori and the Blind Forest. I got it on sale, and then the definitive edition cost me an extra like $4. So that's the same game. Portal 2 was like $3-4. Rise of the Tomb Raider bought new. Rocket League got on sale for $10. Shadow of the Tomb Raider bought day one, full price. Sonic Generations came with my first graphics card. Tomb Raider came with my second graphics card. Trials Fusion, I bought that full price, and then The Witcher 2 was $2. So I don't know if it technically says like 17, but there's a couple duplicates. This is 7 years. This is my Steam library. I'm not a big PC gamer. You saw on Origin, I got Dead Space for free. Apex Legends was free, and Titanfall was $5 for all the DLC, the entire $100 collector's edition. Yeah, I can't roll with that Collected. I like the N64 controller, but I can play a 3D platformer with a good analog stick on whether it's Switch Pro controller, Xbox, or even DualShock 4. A good analog stick's all you need for me to play Mario 64. But anyway, I've never played it on anything other than the N64, but I'm not opposed to it. My point I'm making is I'm not a big PC guy. I don't have a huge collection of games. I played Doom more on the Switch. BioShock Infinite was start to finish on PC. Hellblade start to finish. Ori. Never finished Portal 2. Rise, Shadow, and original Tomb Raider is all start to finish on PC. Trials Fusion. I played through that, 5 hours of Sonic Generations, however long it is. The rest of these games I never finished, or like Dead Space on the Origin. I had already played through 3 times on the Xbox 360. I didn't even get an hour into the PC version. Like, even though it looks so much better and plays so smooth, above 60 frames per second or whatever, I barely played it. So yeah, I'm not a big PC guy. That being said, the idea of Nintendo's first-party games on PC doesn't necessarily bother me if done the way I'll describe. But the concept of it is not like insulting or, oh my God, I can't imagine that's them going third party, you know, like I'll go over that. Let's look at the poll though. 48% said they just still support the Switch 100%, you know, basically ignore anything on PC or anything, you know. 35% depends on the game. So if it was obviously, let's say something more graphically intensive, like let's say Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that has some significant performance issues on the Switch, low res, low texture stuff. You know, maybe a game like that, just as an example, somebody like, all right, I like the game, I like the art style, but if I could have it a smoother experience, maybe I would get it on PC. And then 17%, I'm sure Unforgiven, if he's in here, he was one of those switch to PC 100%. So it's only 63 people, and mostly Nintendo fans that follow me. It's a small chunk, but I think most Nintendo fans would be in this vein. I'm curious what Microsoft or Xbox fanboys who claim Nintendo games are just for kids, you know, what they would say. But so I'm going to just go over the only way that this happening would be okay with me. Like, so first and foremost, don't put it on Steam. Nintendo, make your own service, make your own app that when you open it up, basically it's a windowed version of the Switch OS. That's what I would do. Log in just like I'm on my Switch, same account. Use cloud saves to have cross platform saves, and then the other part of this is cross buy. If I buy a game on Switch, especially digitally, it should be available to me to download on the Switch PC app. I shouldn't have to buy it twice. If I have to buy it twice, then I'm saying the service is stupid. Eat a dick, Nintendo. What are you doing? So again, I'm not asking for this. I could live the rest of my life without Nintendo games on PC. I'll be just fine. But if they were going to do it, and they asked me, this is how I'd do it. So you boot up your app. Anyone that has a video capture card, when you have your Switch plugged in and you're viewing it in a windowed form on your PC as you're recording, that's how I'd expect the app to work. Again, you'd be logged in. So if I was on my PC and I turn on my Switch, there'd be a little problem because it'd be syncing up a save file. Just like with Xbox, when I played Forza Horizon 4, I never had my Xbox on and my PC at the same time. I don't know what would happen. Actually, something did happen once where I had 2 save files and it asked me which one I wanted to go with. And I went with the older one because the new one didn't sync up, so it was kind of like it was like starting over. It was a newer save file, but it was actually way less progress. So you do that. Do cross-buy, do cross-platform saves, and then you have my interest peaked. I'm still going to play like way more on the Switch. If you look at Rocket League, I got 400 and some hours on Switch. I got 280 or something on PC. That's eventually going to be leveled out, but I'm still going to play Smash, just as probably way more on Switch. But the other part of this, it's cross-buy, cross-platform cloud saves, and for me, it has to be cross-platform, friends list, and online. So maybe there'd be some kind of indicator saying that, hey, I'm on the Switch app versus the Switch itself, and this would be with for the successor as well. But if Clockedit's playing Smash Brothers, and let's say I'm doing a video and I open the app and I say, oh, he's on Smash, I should just be able to boot up Smash, sync up my save data for the last time I played it was on Switch, and play like we're both on Switches. That's, to me, how it have to work for it to even be worth doing. And you could say, well, what's the point? Why do that? That's, you're going to get people who don't buy a Switch now who buy this app and buy all their games that way. And you're right. I mean, Switch might not be at 32 million. It might be at 20 million or something. I don't know. But to me, that's to worry about Nintendo's financial stuff. Because I think anybody that wouldn't buy the Switch and just do the app, they were already a potential buyer. And then you're going to get a bunch of people who weren't even considering the Switch. Maybe some more diehard PC guys that, oh no, I can buy, I can play Breath of the Wild, like legit, buy it. Or I can play Mario Kart 8 with my buddy who has a Switch. I'm not buying a Switch, but we could race together. So I think it would be a good way for Nintendo to make more money. It might hurt their overall image as a console maker, and people would be saying, oh, they're going third party, and that could potentially be a worry I could see. If it's super successful, if eventually more people buy games via their service than on their console. But at the same time, a lot of people buying the Switch are buying it for that portable mode. I know in Japan, I don't think that's going to make much of a dent. So for me, they did all that. I'm not going to be mad at them. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I'm playing all my games on Switch. That's it. Fuck or all the games on PC. Fuck the Switch. Why would I ever turn my Switch on? Well, for those that don't know, I'm a console gamer. I've always been a console gamer. There's just something for me about having a box plugged into my TV that's just plug and play. I don't have to download anything. I don't need 4 fucking accounts to play games across different companies like Origin, Uplay, Steam, Epic. All have separate accounts. So I like just having that unified. I've always bought Nintendo hardware. I've had every system they've ever made. I like having that box. I'll still play their games mostly on my TV because I like sitting there comfortable in my living room, reclined, playing a game, on a nice 65-inch HD TV, about to be 4K in a couple months probably. So I always want that, and I tried hooking my PC up to my TV a while back, probably right around the time Titanfall came out, and the Xbox One and PS4 had been out, and I was like, I'm gonna hook this up HDMI to my receiver, and then the text was so small, my mouse and keyboard, like I didn't have enough range on the wireless because I sit about 12 feet from where it was, and it just was not a pleasant experience. It was annoying. Got this big old box. It's just nothing I'm ever gonna do. So for me, it would be, I don't know the percentage, maybe 20% I'd play these games on PC, but I guess the final thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, I wouldn't love to see Breath of the Wild at 1080p 60, like with no jaggies, the original game, original textures, no fan-made texture packs or anything bullshit. None of that. Just the game, the way it was meant. But hey, I got a graphics card that can put AA on, can run it at 60, and I can run it at 1440p. I'm not. It's the best game of all time. It's one of the best. I think it's the best looking game as far as just a blend of art direction and the world, the day-night cycle, the clouds, the weather system, everything all together. It's in my opinion, it's the best looking game. I'm gonna be lying if I said I wouldn't think I wouldn't download that on PC and play that at 1440p. Maybe not at 60. Maybe that would cost Nintendo some work, more than it'd be worth. Lock 30. I don't care, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that wouldn't be something I would check out. I might not play through the whole game on PC. Probably wouldn't. I'd probably just play, here and there. Same with Forza Horizon 4. Played it way more on the Xbox One than I did on PC, even though it looks way better on PC. So I'm not gonna sit here and, oh no, I'm done with the Switch. Like, I'm not gonna play Smash on the Switch ever again. Like, why? It's already 1080p 60. Like, how much better would it look if it was 1440p 60? Like, it's not gonna make that much of a difference. So to me, that's not much. That game, but specifically, wouldn't make much. It wouldn't be a factor for me to, like, oh my god. But the thing Nintendo would have to do, the other thing they have to do, if the game has online multiplayer, they have to make sure there is no way, and I'm sure hackers and stuff would be able to figure a way around it, but the game should be locked at 60 on PC or 30, depending on the game. If it runs at 30 on Switch, which I can't think of any online games on Switch, Nintendo first party, that run at 30 that have online. Kirby's the only one that I can think of that's 30, and Kirby and Breath of the Wild and stuff, but they don't have online components. So if it's an online competitive cooperative type game, you have to limit what PC can do. I'd say the other question would be, would they do keyboard and mouse? PC elitists would say yes, you got to have it, otherwise don't do it. I would say controller only. But why is my head cut off? I just realized that. My top of my head's cut off on here. There. So there's a lot of questions. Don't get me wrong. This is not a simple little thing. Even if they do what I say, they still got to deal with third-party controllers. Does an Xbox controller work? Does keyboard and mouse work? Do modders? Is there a way for modders to get in there and fuck up the game for people? It's a bunch of problems. So my answer would be just don't do it. But if they did, all the reasons I just gave, all the things they'd have to do, I think, for it to in my mind, to be okay, that's what it would take. So anybody that played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and love that game, Breath of the Wild, whatever, I think you're definitely lying if you said it wouldn't you wouldn't be interested in seeing those games run better or look a little sharper. Maybe it doesn't make much difference, but if you said it made zero difference to you, I don't know if I'd believe you. But it probably doesn't. I'd believe you say if it doesn't make enough difference for you to want to play these games on PC. I absolutely believe that. Like, to me, I played Doom 55 hours on Switch. It looks absolutely blurry as hell, and I only played it 18 hours on PC. So obviously, I am all for playing lesser looking games on the Switch when I have a better option on PC. So that wouldn't change with Nintendo games. It'd be probably more of a curiosity. Unless we get a game comes out like let's say Monolith Soft's next game, let's say they go even more ambitious and you get like really bad frame rate drops and stuff, and it's more of an action RPG and a little more affects your gameplay, then to me, I don't know. It would I think it would be a success. You're talking about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch at 15 million. If they had their Switch app and people didn't have to buy a Switch that wouldn't buy one anyway, could go out and buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, pay full price on Nintendo's app, I'd say it'd probably be double that, if not more. And I don't know that. I guess some people would probably not buy the Nintendo console, but how much money is Nintendo actually making on the Switch? Because everyone talks about install base. Install base drives everything. The Wii U didn't have the install base, and it failed because you didn't get third parties and stuff. The install base will be there if they did it right. If they did it, like I said, you log in, it's just like a Switch, but it's run on your PC. Yeah, if you don't have a decent PC, obviously it's not going to work, but don't fool yourself in thinking that you need something significant to run what the Switch can do. I mean, Terrell has a standard Dell with a 1050, like low end graphics card, and he can play Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider on lower settings. I mean, don't still look better than what they'd look like on the Switch. So that's really not a factor. But again, there's all kinds of factors. I kind of lost the point I was at, but there's just way too many factors, way too many things that would have to happen. Nintendo's, I don't think, up to it. I don't think they want the hassle. Oh, the thing I was saying was the install base. Like, these games, especially the multiplayer games, the install base would be massive. Like I said, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What about Splatoon? How many? They could easily make individual lobbies for all the game modes. You got 20 million people with Splatoon 2 or something. So from a Nintendo standpoint, from an install base or game sales standpoint, I just don't think they make a ton of money on the Switch. Maybe the accessories they make a lot of money on, and they'd lose out on that. But again, I'm not asking for this. If they never do it, I'm fine. But if they did, this is what I think would need to happen for it to be okay. And if it was cross-buy, let's say you have a decent PC, you don't play in it much, you buy a game, and if you want to, you can download it on your PC and play it there at times if you wanted to. Like, I don't see the negative if that was the way it worked. I could see it if they wanted to charge you a second, like you'd have to pay for it twice. Then to me, that would be something to get mad over. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm sure there's a bunch of like mixed opinions about my opinion. I'm sure I get some down votes. Again, it's just my opinion, and again, I don't really care. Like, these games never need to come to PC. I'll be absolutely fine buying a Nintendo system. I would like to see a little more of a continuity between systems. I don't want to start over every time, not have backwards compatibility every time, not have an account system crossover every time. Like, they need to fix that shit way more than even think about putting games on PC. But, something to talk about. Something to get the conversation going, upset some snowflake Nintendo fans, and thought it'd be an interesting conversation. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll be back probably next week to do another one, as long as there's something to talk about. So thanks everybody for tuning in, contributing to the conversation, and we'll see you next time.